Welcome to another edition of Walton Entertainment. Today we'll have more news, information, and entertainment from your local hometown.
Hi there. Today we're going to read Mouse Paint by Ellen Stoll Walsh. This is one of my favorite books. Let's read. Once there were 3 white mice on a white piece of paper. The cat couldn't find them. One day, while the cat was asleep, the mice saw 3 jars of paint. 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. They thought it was mouse paint. They climbed right in. Then 1 was red, 1 was yellow, and 1 was blue. They dripped puddles of paint onto the paper. The puddles looked like fun. The red mouse stepped into a yellow puddle and did a little dance. His red feet stirred the yellow puddle until... "Look!" he cried. "Red feet in a yellow puddle make orange." The yellow mouse hopped into a blue puddle. His feet mixed and stirred and stirred and mixed until... "Look down," said the red mouse and the blue mouse. "Yellow feet in a blue puddle make green." Then the blue mouse jumped into a red puddle. He splashed and mixed and danced until... "Purple!" they all shouted. "Blue feet in a red puddle make purple." But the paint on their fur got sticky and stiff, so they washed themselves down to a nice soft white. And painted the paper instead. They painted 1 part red and 1 part yellow. And 1 part blue. They mixed red and yellow to paint an orange part. Yellow and blue to paint a green part. And blue and red to paint a purple part. But they left some white because of the cat. The end. How would you like to read Brown Bear, What Do You See? By Bill Martin Jr. and Eric Carle drew the pictures. Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a blue horse looking at me. Blue horse, what do you see? I see a green frog looking at me. Green frog, what do you see? I see a purple cat looking at me. Purple cat, what do you see? I see a white dog looking at me. White dog, what do you see? I see a black sheep looking at me. Black sheep, what do you see? I see a goldfish looking at me. Goldfish, what do you see? I see a teacher looking at me. Teacher, what do you see? I see children looking at me. Children, what do you see? We see a brown bear, a red bird, a yellow duck, a blue horse, a green frog, a purple cat, a white dog, a black sheep, a goldfish, and a teacher looking at us. That's what we see. The end. Hi, this is Miss Laura ready to read to you again today. And this is called The Midnight Unicorn. And the author and illustrator is Neil Reed. That means he wrote the story and he drew the pictures. Come read with me. The Midnight Unicorn. Millie heard the jangling of Casper's leash and put down the clay unicorn she was shaping. "Anywhere special you want to go today?" asked Dad. "The park!" Millie cried, her eyes shining with excitement. "Okay," said Dad. "But wouldn't you like to go somewhere else for a change? Aren't you tired of visiting that same stone statue?" Millie shook her head. She couldn't explain it, but the park, and especially that one statue, were the most important things in the world to her. The park was quiet, except for the sound of dry leaves crunching under their feet as Millie led the way down the path. Almost there, almost there, the quick rhythm of her feet seemed to say. One more bend in the path, and there it was, a small stone unicorn, molted with age and weather, slightly mossy around its hooves. "We can't stay too long, Millie," said Dad. "I'll be right over there on the bench if you need me." Millie ran her fingers over the unicorn's closed eyes and gentle mouth. It had the kindest, wisest smile, and she always felt happy when she was nearby. "It's only been a week since I was here, but I've missed you so much," she whispered, stretching on tiptoe to be closer to the unicorn's ear. As Millie pressed her hands against the statue's graceful neck, she felt the stone shiver. Suddenly, the unicorn's hooves lifted off the ground, and he pranced beside her. "You're alive?" she gasped, feeling surprised but not afraid. The unicorn pressed his nose softly against Millie's cheek and then bent his magnificent head so she could climb onto his back. The ground fell away beneath them as he sprang into the sky. Casper bounded after them, barking with joy as his paws left the pavement. Up and up they flew, high over the park and Millie's neighborhood. She kept her eyes shut tight against the rush of wind, and when she opened them, she was amazed to see a bright full moon, a sky suddenly full of stars, and lights twinkling in all the houses below. The town clock struck midnight. As Millie and the unicorn flew over the hills and forests and lakes, dark clouds gathered around them and thunder boomed. "Storm up ahead! We'll have to fly fast to beat it," Millie called out. The unicorn put his head down and charged through the angry clouds. Rain rushed into Millie's face. She could hear Casper whimpering as he galloped close behind them, trying to keep up. "Don't be afraid, Casper," she cried. "We've almost made it." As they blasted through the last bank of clouds, Millie cheered and patted the unicorn's strong neck. He swooped down low over the tops of glistening moonlit mountains so she could run her fingers through the snow. "It's beautiful here," said Millie, "but could we find somewhere warmer now?" The unicorn whinnied softly, and in no time at all they were gliding through the warm desert night. Millie waved at the sleepy camels far below on the shimmering red sand dunes. "I've never seen the ocean," Millie told the unicorn. "Could we go there too?" The unicorn turned sharply, and soon they were gliding over a sparkling sea. Waves rolled and crashed along the beach, and when Millie looked closely, she could see that there were other unicorns prancing in the foam. The unicorn spiraled down, 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 right into the breakers. Millie laughed as they bucked through the salty spray, racing the others. Casper was panting and falling behind, so Millie gently pulled on the unicorn's mane. He climbed easily into the air and landed on a rainbow where Casper could rest. All alone in the dark sea below them was an island. It was lit by a shaft of golden daylight at the end of the rainbow, and Millie saw that a herd of unicorns waited on the beach. One by one, the unicorns welcomed Millie, nuzzling her neck with their velvety noses. When she had said hello to all of them, her unicorn led her to rocky paths she could explore and crystal clear streams she could drink from. Butterflies and the scent of flowers filled the air. At last, exhausted by all their adventures, Millie, Casper, and the unicorn lay down on the soft grass. Butterfly wings fanned them into a deep, calm sleep. "Wake up, sweetheart, it's time to go home." Millie opened her eyes and looked up at her father. "Were you worried about me, Dad? I was gone all night. The unicorn took me to see the mountains and the desert and the ocean, and..." Dad gave her a hug. "You have a wonderful imagination, Millie, but it was real," she started to say, and then stopped herself. She and Casper and the unicorn knew the truth, and that was all that mattered. "Ready to go now?" asked Dad. "Almost," said Millie. She stood beside the statue and kissed its smooth forehead. "Thank you, my midnight unicorn," she whispered. And as she turned to follow her father down the path, Millie was sure she heard the unicorn whiny a soft goodbye. The end.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist, they'll put you in the spotlight.
I'm a huge Bill Withers fan, and this is just one of the songs I really adore and really get into and love to sing. Use Me by Bill Withers. All you wanna do is use me. But my answer, yeah, to all that use me stuff, I say I'm gonna spread news that if it feels it's good getting you, oh, you just keep on using me. To use me up, to use me up. My brother, yeah, sit me right down and talk to me. He told me, yeah, I'm not letting you just walk me. And I'm sure he meant well, yeah, but when our talk was through, I said, brother, if you only knew you wish you were in my shoes, oh, you just keep on using me. To use me up, to use me up. Well, sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. You get me in a crowd, high class people, and then you act real rude to me. But oh baby, when you love me I can't get enough. Yeah, now I'm gonna spread news that if it feels this good and you just keep on using me. Till you use me up. Till you use me up. Yeah, I'm talking how you using me, but it all depends on what you do. thing you do. Do the thing you do. Wrong, do the thing you do. Do the thing you do.
Today, I'm a little over 600 cars that I rent to the movies. I broker. And again, it's just my love for cars turned into a business, you know? I mean, in 1976, they did Smokey and the Bandit movie. You know, I walked out there. I lived like 2 doors up, 3 doors up from the ballpark there. Walked out there, was a tractor trailer truckload full of Trans Ams. Thought it was the coolest thing. And, you know, we watched a little bit of it, but unfortunately, I went 12 years to school without missing a day. So I didn't get to skip school to watch Smokey and the Bandit, but you know, I did see a lot of the pictures. It was really cool, and got to hang out with them a little bit. Again, I was only 16 years old then. You know, I don't like to sell stuff, but I like to trade stuff, and this bug came up on a really sweet little trade deal that I did, and it's a 1970 bug. You know, it's kind of cute. We did the movie Vacation, and they wanted to make a hippie Volkswagen, and we also used Conyers Animal Hospital's red Volkswagen van for a hippie van, but they wanted a hippie bug, so I told them they could do anything they wanted to with it, and they did, and it's all tasteful. There's nothing nasty or dramatic, but you can wash it off, but I don't know if I really want to. Well, you know, various times I get phone calls for cars. They typically call them rent-to-wrecks. I had a 1993 Chevrolet truck that I tried to sell, ended up selling it to production, and they wrecked it.
We are rolling out for impact in 3, 2, 1, action.
There they go. We did a movie called Watson's Go to Birmingham about the church bombing in Birmingham in 1964. They were non-running cars, but they put them outside the church and basically set decorations, set deck as they call it, pretty much beat up the car. And I've got photos of the before and after, the original photo and what we did for the production did to make it look like it. And basically it was part of an explosion bomb when the church got bombed in Birmingham. I started driving in '76, but back in the '70s, we'd go to Stone Mountain Park and cruise around the park. And I remember being there like in 1974. I saw a Corvette club come through the park, and just a bunch of this style Corvettes, because it was 1974, and older Corvettes. Back window comes out on this car, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I said, I'm going to get one before I turn 20. So basically, I got a car identical to this without the L21 race option. January 25th, 1979. I've made my goal by 1 year and 4 days. And I've had this car since 1988, but you know, my goal is to get that Corvette, and I got it. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people said my mom and daddy paid for the car, but I paid for that car.
You're watching Walton Entertainment.
This is Paul Mullins with Walton Entertainment, and today we're going to talk about the Nissan Leaf, which is an all-electric car. It's not a hybrid. It has no gasoline, has no exhaust pipe, carburetors or anything. It's just all electric. And the aerodynamics of this car are very unique. I always said it looked like a big bullfrog. I bought one back in September of 2014, I'm sorry. And I've been driving it for nearly 6 years. Very dependable car, very economical car to drive. And back to the aerodynamics of it, if you look at the headlights, which make it look like a big bullfrog, there's if you get down here and point, see, it kind of points to the rear view mirror. Well, that pointing to the rear view mirror makes the airflow go so it doesn't hit the rear view mirror and makes it more aerodynamic. This particular model style has a drag coefficient of a 0.28, and this was a body style from 2010 to 2017. In 2018 it changed body style, got a bigger motor and a bigger battery. And over the years, this body style started out with about a 73-mile range and then got up to a little over 100-mile range. When they changed the body style, then they went to a different motor and different battery pack, and the new ones can go 150 miles up to, if you get the superpower one, it can go up to 225 miles on the charge. And mine, I can do about 80 miles on a charge. And it's really, for traveling around here, I can go to Conyers, Covington, Snellville, go over to Athens. I can go to the outskirts of Atlanta, but if I go inside the perimeter of Atlanta, I'll have to charge it up somewhere before I get home. You might ask, how much does it cost to drive this car? Well, there's a readout right here, and I'm going to zoom in on it. Do you see that? It says energy economy average 4.1. That means that I get 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, Monroe's one of the higher prices. If you go to Georgia Power, it's cheaper, but even at Monroe's rates, it's 12.5 cents a kilowatt hour. So that divide the 4.1 into 12.5, and you see it costs just a pinch over 3 cents a mile to drive this car. Now, if you're on Georgia Power, Georgia Power has a thing that if you charge your car after 12 midnight, it's 4 cents a kilowatt hour. So if you're on Georgia Power, then you can see it costs a little over a penny a mile to drive this car. Now, as you can see, the over to the right, you see the 6.1. That means I've got 61 miles left on my charge. That's my range. And then it's got the blue readout there. So as that goes down to the red, that's how I know how far I can drive it. Over to the left, you see that's your battery. And it happens to be 6 bars right now. And that's fine. You can go to 5 bars, 4 bars. But in really cold weather, it'll go to 2 bars. And when you get to 2 bars, it does decrease your mileage. It's like a car trying to start it on a cold winter day, how you go to start and it goes roar, 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 and on a real pretty 70-degree day, it'll go roar, 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 roar. Well, that's your battery. And the same thing is with electric car. Is the colder the battery is, the less power you will get out of it. So that's one thing you have to consider, is your range does decrease on cold winter days. The Leaf is really not new to Nissan. They have had electric vehicles they have been working on since 1946. So the Leaf is the 3rd generation of electric cars. They had one, the Ultra and Hypermini, but now it's the Leaf. So that's the 3 generations of car. And the cars, if you'll look on them, they say zero pollution, zero emissions. Well, that's if you're going filling up from a water power plant or a solar or a wind power plant. If you do have the coal or natural gas power plant, there is a little bit of emission to fill up your car. But if you have solar panels at your house and you fill it up with solar panels, you are totally emissions free with this car. Some people think that electric car is very sluggish. This particular car, according to the specs, will do about 93 miles an hour. I do know for a fact it will do 80. But the 0 to 60 in about 7 to 8 seconds. It is really peppy, and that's the thing. Most people think of a golf cart with an electric cart. No, this is nothing like a golf cart. It will flat take off, and probably at the red light, any car in its size, it'll probably outdrag them. It does have quite a bit of power. It has got amazing trunk area. As you can see, I've got an amplifier in here, toilet tissue, which you need to keep around these days. I've been spraying with my Roundup, have that in there, and so there's quite a bit of air. Plus, the back seat is in two parts. Like it'll seat 5 people, so the 2-seat part goes down and the 1-seat part goes down, and I'll show you right here. There's where it breaks. So it does have a lot of room, and it has a lot of headroom and seat room. We'll show you the back seat now. The back seat is what they call stadium seating. As you can see, it's up higher than the front seat, and the reason for this is it helps you to see over the front passenger. Plus, the battery pack is down under this seat, and so it gives you a low center of gravity, which makes the car corner very, very nice. It handles very nice on corners. As of May 2020, more than 470,000 of these Leafs have been sold, and in the United States, 142,000 have been sold just in the United States. One statistic I ran across, I thought that was interesting, from 2010 to 2017, in the U.S., a total of 114,800 had been sold. Japan was next, it's 97,000. Norway, 22,000. UK, 22,000. And on down, China, 4,000. Down to Switzerland, 831. So at that time in 2017, there were 293,545 of these sold. This particular model has 107 horsepower with a 24 kilowatt lithium ion battery. The newer ones have got 148 or 47 horsepower, and they have the new 40 kilowatt hour batteries. So that's why they can go 150 to 225 miles. They have more battery and they've got a larger motor. The Leaf Plus has got a 62 kWh battery, and that's how it's able to go 225 miles on a charge. There are charging stations. I don't know if you've been here to Monroe to the Walgreens. It has a charging station. Most Walgreens in this area that I've been to have got a charging station in their parking lot. If you're heading towards Atlanta, the library in Loganville has got a charge station. Downtown Loganville has got a charge station. There are a lot of charge stations around. Some of them free, some of them charge. They charge you, or you have to use a your card that you have to apply for that works in their charging machines. The one I usually hit when I go downtown Atlanta is the one on 78. Do you know where the Walmart is that has underground parking? That Walmart has got 2 charging stations, and that's what I hit. Now, on charging stations, there are 3 types. You've got the one that comes with the car that is 110, and basically you get 5.5 miles for every hour of charge. Now, if you get a 220 charge, I've got one in my house, and it's a 15 amp, and it will give you about 17.5 miles of charge for every hour. If you get a 30 amp charger, it will give you about 25 miles for every hour of charge. So depends on, and then you get the 440 charger there at your dealerships. They will give you a full charge in about 30 to 45 minutes. So it depends on how many amps the charger has as to how fast it will charge the car. If you get one of these cars, I recommend you getting a home charger at your house, because the charger that comes with it 5.5 miles for every hour charge is a very slow charge. So if you get your one at the house, then you will charge every hour. You'll get 17.5 miles, or if you got the up charger, it'll get 25 miles for every hour of charge. Now I'm going to swing around and show you. I've got a charger in my carport, and I'm going to show you what a charger looks like. I got a Bosch charger right here. I mounted it on my wall in my carport. To charge, all you have to do, this is what plugs into the car, and you turn it on, and your light will come on your charger, and that lets you know that this is ready. It flashes red, green, red, green. When it's green, it's ready to plug into the car, and when it charges the car up, it will automatically turn off, so you can put it on in the afternoon, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and next morning it's ready to go. That is one thing that is really good about an electric car, is it's ready to go every morning. It's got full charge. You don't have to go by a gas station. My Leaf, in the 6 years that I've owned it, has been to a convenience store gas station twice, and that was to get cappuccino. So you just don't have to go to gas stations, charge at home. You can get an app. I've got 2 apps on my phone that gives me all the charging stations between here in Atlanta, here, Athens. They're just everywhere. Every Nissan dealer's got charging stations. A lot of your Ford dealers have got charging stations. Your Walgreens have got the charging stations. And again, they're in some parking lots. So if you go over to Athens to the new shopping center, they have got Tesla charging stations. I think there's 12 of them. If you go up to Commerce to the outlet mall, they have 4 charging stations up there. So you've got plenty of charge to go from Monroe up to Commerce to the outlet store. Shop for about 2 hours or so. Your car will have enough energy to come back to Monroe. So you make a good day of shopping at the outlet store. Again, this is the way to go if you want cheap transportation. Like I said, it cost me about 3 cents a mile to travel. If I was on Georgia Power in Atlanta, I'd be driving for about 1 cent a mile or 1.5 cents a mile. So this is Paul Mullins with Walton Entertainment.